G'day, Wester here. Okay, today I've got a 47-inch LCD TV. Just all of a sudden, I bought it second hand. It was a good price and it failed basically less than 2 weeks later. No power. So the first thing I did, I haven't fixed it yet by the way, first thing I want to do is prove obviously that there's power coming out of the power point for one, which obviously it was because everything else was running, but a lot of people miss this. So try changing a different power lead and see if that fixes it. This didn't actually fix it in this case, but at least I know that I've got to go further now into the LCD. So what we're going to do now is we're going to learn how to fix an LCD TV. So I don't know what's wrong with it. The only thing is I know is you push the power button and nothing happens. So I'll be back in a second. What I will do, we'll pull the casing off and we'll have a look at the power supply and see if we can have a look at that and see what we find. I need a few things here. I've got a container to put the screws in, got a Phillips screwdriver, a multimeter, and I've got a LED headlamp, just so that you've got some better lighting. Alright, so basically all we've got to do here is take off all the screws, make sure you've got no power connected to it, and usually there's an arrow at all the points. Okay, so put your screws aside, and we should be able to pull this cover off. So we'll just flip it over carefully. Okay, so we've got speakers here, got 2 speaker wires, and so we'll have a look at what we're going to do to get these. So I might actually have to slide this up and cover over. So you need plenty of room for these big TVs because they take up a lot of space. So we'll get all this gear out of the way. We'll slide the TV up further and we'll flip it over carefully. And the easiest thing to do is to undo the speakers, which has just 2 little screws, and take this power board off so it doesn't strain the system. take those speakers there off. Okay, so yeah, so all I've done is I've taken these two speakers off and the power board, the switchboard off the side here. Okay, so let's have a bit more of a look and see if we can see anything else that's been going on here. And I think I think I've found the problem before I even have to go any further. So we're going to try this out and see if it works. So whatever you do when you start testing it, you don't want to be touching any circuits or earthing out on anything, because you could get electrocuted because you're talking high voltage here. So what I think the problem is, my young fella has come along, which I haven't seen this until now. There's actually a switch down here, this one here, and I think it's turned off, and I didn't realise it actually had a switch on it. So now that I'm aware of that, I will see whether that's fixed it. So you've got the power button on and off here, so I'll power it in, I'll plug into it, and we'll flick the switch on and see what happens, eh? Get this cable. Always plug into the TV first before you plug into the power. Okay, so we're powered in. Alright, so we've got nothing here. Here's the switch here. Nothing. Turn the switch on. We'll see what happens. Yep, it's working. You can see this LED here. So I'm going to see if that has fixed the problem. I think it has, actually, to be honest. So yeah, so that little switch, I didn't even know these TVs had this little switch here, but it looks like the young fella's come along and bumped it and it's turned off. So just check for that before you pull it apart. One thing to look for if you've got an LCD TV that's not powering up is, first of all, you want to make sure you've got it disconnected, but check the lead from the plug from here. Make sure all the leads are connected. Trace that back to, this has got a switch here, that's all got good connections in here, and then that comes out the other side of the switch and comes through and hits this power. Make sure that power lead's plugged in properly. And then this is the actual transformer here, which transforms, in this case 240 or 230 volt AC, and then it splits it down this end and converts it to 12 volt, 5 volt and 24 volts, which you can see on the board there. You can see the outputs there. So what you want to check is just have a look. The biggest fault, the biggest problem that causes these to blow is power fluctuations, and what they've got a whole set of capacitors here and a whole bank of them in here. Really, a lot of them are these are most of these ones are filter capacitors. So what they do is they store the energy and release it like a car battery, basically. So once so it provides stable power to the DC side of the system, which most electronics will runs on DC, and the variations in voltage in this here is 24, 12 and 5, and they're the three voltages that that supplies from this board. So what you're looking for with these here, see how you've got the little dome on the end of the capacitors. If they're swollen at all, chances are it's had a power surge and it's caused that capacitor to, or you know, it's like overpowering a battery. If you put 24 volts into a 12 volt battery, it'll blow up. Matter of time, will boil it out. So it causes major damage inside the component. So those filter capacitors, you would need to check each one of those to get it to suss it out, see if it works. So, and I don't know how they've got that put in there. It looks like they've got it clipped in somehow. But you know, like if I could see any of those swollen, I would be looking at pulling them apart, testing them and replacing them. So you know, same thing as go over the whole board, have a look at all the circuit boards and just check all the capacitors and see if there's any that are swollen at all. Yeah, so that's just a little tip in this case. We've solved it by this switch down the bottom here, which was turned off, so I wasn't aware that it was there. But anyway, that's a easy mistake to make, but something to check before you pull it apart. But we learn something every day. We don't get it all right all the time, but if I can pass this on and someone else can learn without pulling it apart, you know, if you've checked your power lead, changed your power lead and still doesn't work, this switch here, check to make sure it's switched on, because my teenage boy told me the TV had died and he must have been playing around the back and switched it. So, right, cheers, thanks for watching. This is Westy over now. I'll put this all back together again and we'll be good to go. Got the TV together now, as you can see, down in this bottom corner now. Now I've powered it up. There is a red LED light going now. So I'm just going to try and power it up and we'll see what happens. It's gone green. We'll see what happens here. Here you go. Alright, so simple fix, eh? Okay, that's Westy over now. Cheers.